ERIC is an online library of education research sponsored by the Institute of Education Sciences, or IES. The ERIC database has more than 1.7 million records of journal articles and gray literature. The ERIC Help Desk often receives questions from users about who holds copyright to the materials found in ERIC. This video presents our most frequently asked questions and provides answers to help you understand ERIC's copyright policy, since ERIC contains many resources that are protected by U.S. and foreign copyright laws. ERIC often receives requests from users for permission to include materials from an article found in ERIC in their work. Here is a sample inquiry. I am writing a journal article. Can I get permission from you to use the survey instrument found in the report's appendix for my study and include it in the appendix of my paper? ERIC does not hold copyright to the materials in the collection. We do not have the authority to grant permission to include content from ERIC resources in your work. You should contact the copyright holder to obtain such permission. Some users ask how to get in touch with the copyright holder and whether ERIC can provide contact information such as an email address and phone number. The copyright holder is typically the publisher, author, or sponsoring institution of the work. ERIC does not maintain a separate file of copyright holder email addresses or phone numbers. However, many records in ERIC display publisher information. Publisher information, including addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, etc., is added to ERIC records when they are indexed. Please note that over time this information can change. Publishers relocate, stop publishing, or merge with other publishers. ERIC also receives questions from instructors who are putting together course materials for their students. Here is a common question. I am putting together course materials and found articles in ERIC I would like to provide to my students. May I reproduce and distribute them to my class? The answer is, it depends. When in doubt, refer to information about the fair use doctrine of U.S. copyright law. This information can be found on the U.S. Copyright Office website located at copyright.gov. The law does allow for some limited use of protected materials for educational and other purposes. If you are unsure if your actions would constitute fair use, you should seek permission from the copyright holder or consult a copyright specialist at your institution. Occasionally, we are asked if the materials in ERIC are available for public use. The answer is, some are. All publishers retain the copyright for their works, and you should obtain their permission for other than fair use of these materials. However, some of these materials are authored by the U.S. government, such as work by the Institute of Education Sciences, and are in the public domain. These materials may be freely copied and distributed. Works authored by a private contractor or grantee on behalf of the U.S. government are not necessarily in the public domain. We are also asked if permission is needed to include links to the ERIC website or multimedia products produced by ERIC on a website or in other electronic resources. In this case, you do not need permission. The ERIC website and all of the products produced by ERIC, including videos, infographics, information on ERIC web pages, and ERIC data from the download area of the website, are sponsored by the Institute of Education Sciences and are in the public domain. You may freely use these resources. While ERIC's collection of resources is made available to the public, it is important to remember that copyright holder rights are in place for some materials. If you are unsure if you need permission to show an author's work in your research, please contact the publisher, author, or sponsoring institution of the work to determine who owns the copyright. For more information on using ERIC resources, check out these links.